They try to make it out like I'm conflicted. East Coast and 6'4's hitting switch. It's not a conflict of interest.
Cut it with the business. West Coast rocking them Timberlands, deep up in them trenches. It's no difference. Neither one play games when swinging for them fences. We want the finer things that's expensive. They hit them either close range or at a distance. If God for me, why bother? I got my game from the Godfather. Top of the food chain, rock bottom. And handle my business when it was my problem. G. Flossing with a gold chain. I got my Turkish rope with matching gold things. Bomber jacket in the winter, it's a cold game. I met some East Coast up in Spokane. Some of the realest in this dope game. I got my curly top looking like special ed. Clean fade on the side, bumping that red head. Clean tags when I ride, ducking the feds. East Coast, they get that bread. You put the, you end up dead. The West Coast, they leave that spray. And now you got all in your dread head.
If God for me, who could be against me? I guess all of that's against me.
Well, first opened back in 1975. There's a look inside the iconic Superdome in downtown New Orleans. Today, after a crazy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. The first game's out of the way. Time to buckle down for the long season ahead, and we're off in week 2. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. To the air right away is Brady. It's caught by Mike Evans. 5 yards on the game's first play, second down. Now, the Bucs and Saints expected to possibly be the two to slug it out for the NFC South title in 2022. The Saints have had the Bucs number pretty much since the arrival of Tom Brady, at least in the regular season. They're 4-0 against Tampa Bay the last 2 seasons in the regular season. But remember, when Tampa won the Super Bowl, they did defeat New Orleans en route to that title. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on third down. Brady looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And that is incomplete.
That was their first third down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key third down throws.
Now on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. 35 yards on the return. Picked up some good blocks as well. And the Saints will have a short field in front of them. They take over here, 1st and 10. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. They'll pound it up the middle with Kamara. And down right around the 32-yard line, 4 yards on the pickup. Well, this defense for the Bucs, terrific last week in the season-opening victory.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down. The Saints had 0-1 in the year following the loss in the opener. And listen, they knew last week they were in for a tough fight on the road. But now here's the home opener and a chance to get things right.
And I like the way that you presented that, because the bottom line is they didn't come out of that loss discouraged. They just came home and said, hey, if we do what we're supposed to do, protect our home turf, we'll be just fine.
Joe Tryon there to make the tackle.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. To throw here, Dalton. Give him 10 that time, escaping the danger, running with it, and picking up a first down.
And that's an early scramble that can be viewed positively by either side. From the offensive point of view, it begins to establish it as a possibility to keep it on certain plays. And defensively, they avoided giving up a huge play in one of their first tests in containing a quarterback on the run.
And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 10-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
And that's exactly what you're looking for at the inside linebacker spot, versatility. He can drop into coverage, or as he did on that last play, use his speed to get to the perimeter and knock the ball carrier for a loss.
Kamara trying again. And here he'll get it down to the 7. It'll be a gain of 4, but it'll bring us now to a 3rd and goal. Dalton now to pass. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down. So on 4th down, on comes Saints kicker Will Lutz from the right hash, and this one just a chippy. The kick by Lutz is good, and the Saints are going to take a 3-0 lead. So a pretty good opening drive. That'll make the home fans somewhat happy. They wanted 6, but they got 3 in the early lead.
And they should be happy. The guys look good getting down the field. That's got to give them a little bit of hope that good things are in store here today for them.
Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped it to 23. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. Early on, you know, Charles, every game could be called a measuring stick game. But I think when it comes within your division like this, it's a measuring stick game with a little extra intrigue.
I would agree with that totally because all division games have a little extra to them. But I like where this game is situated because at this stage of the season, it has that little extra juice. But at the same time, it's not a make or break if this were, let's say, week 15, 16, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Fakes the give to Fournette. Now Brady. And this one hauled in by Rudolph. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space. And it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
And this time he's able to take it down to the 42.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
Brady's throw complete here, pulled in by Brate. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. First connection there of the afternoon for those two, and it's good for a first down.
Oh, a lot of credit to the play caller here. He saw the design in his mind and implemented it. A little zone stretcher here because they started to tight end on the left side of the formation and sent him on a crossing route. And this works really well where you can find that space between levels, and they were able to do so for good yardage.
They'll try and run for it with Fournette. He pushes forward for maybe 3 down to the 6-yard line.
He's had success on this drive, but not on this play.
Finally, they bowed up defensively. I think they were determined not to let him take it pretty much all the way down the field.
Yeah, it looks like they handled their run responsibilities correctly this time. What we call them run fits, everyone was in the right place.
On second down, here's Fournette. And he's going to be brought down on what will be the final play of this first quarter. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. making things difficult. 3rd and goal. Working from the gun, it's Brady. Quick hitter here, it's complete. Touchdown! Mike Evans. His first touchdown here of the new campaign.
And the Bucs have taken the lead.
Ryan Suckup on for the point after. And this is up and good to make it 7-3.
Makes the score Buccaneers 7, Saints 3. Ryan Suckup to kick off for Tampa Bay.
Now it's Ryan Suckup on after the touchdown to kick it away.
And from the end zone, Deontay Hardy will bring it out. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21.
1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line.
Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it, forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Throwing, Dalton. That's to his running back. It's Alvin Kamara. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. A gain there of 30 big ones.
A lot of running backs in the passing game, they're just used to check it down to them or maybe dump off passes. This guy, they use him to stretch the field, don't they?
He stretched it right there, turned it into a really nice game. Now a 1st down carry. It's Kamara. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. Vita Vea stopped that play in its tracks.
I have a feeling they'll stay committed to running the football, especially on their early downs. They just haven't had a whole lot of success just yet.
Dalton off play action. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Partner, what we're seeing so far is the defense is certainly coordinated. Both levels doing their jobs in tandem. The back helping the front helping the back. The pressure got home on that last play and forced him to try and throw through contact and short of the sticks.
Third down, a shot here for Dalton. And a throw there going to be incomplete.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
Blake Gillikin on the punt now on 4th down.
Only 2 punts for him last week in the loss as he gets this one away. 35 yards that time on the punt, and the Bucs will get ready to go. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession.
Well, as the offense begins another drive here, pretty simple, Charles. They want to carbon copy what happened the last time out when they ended their drive in the end zone.
You're right about that, partner. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Just score again, but we know it's not that simple because we don't just make adjustments at halftime if you're a good football team. You spend that time on the sideline, you study what's on the notes and the tablets, and you make those adjustments, prevent a repeat of the last drive. Series to series, the best teams, that's how they get it done.
Yeah, we'll find out here soon enough whether those adjustments are enough defensively. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks.
Here's Brady. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. And that's a ball that he is going to want to keep, his first career interception in the National Football League.
And I love what teams do when that happens. You bring the ball to the sideline, the equipment guy grabs it, he puts a piece of tape on it, writes on it so that you know what it is, and then they tuck it away so that you can have it for later and put it on your mantle. Pretty good deal for him right there. Now he's eager to get back out on the field and get his second one.
Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be second down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Andy Dalton. That is hauled in by Michael Thomas. And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6. Temporarily out of field goal range now as they come up on a 2nd and long after the holding call. Passing, it's Dalton. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
Joe Tryon-Shoyinka showcasing the pass rush.
Opportunities as a rookie were limited for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in a deep Tampa defense, but he still picked up 4 sacks and made 6 starts in 2021. And there should be more to come in 2022 and beyond.
2 minutes to play in this first half. 7-3 our score. The Bucs with an extra defender now in the secondary here on 3rd down. Dalton.
They'll get this out to Kamara. And he's going to be taken down at about the 33.
We can make this one pretty simple. Locked up all of his progressions downfield, forced to get it to his running back. But how about the way they ran to the football and knocked him down to force a 4th down?
The kick by Lutz is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6.
So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
Following the made field goal, Lutz to kick it away.
Darden now going to bring this one out of the end zone.
Oh, a good-looking return set up here. Running room at the 50. Look out. He will score. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
That was a special return, and it happened because he's a special returner. He has to have that approval from his special teams coach's head coach to bring it out of the end zone.
But let's be honest, a lot of times when they bring it out of the end zone like he did there, they don't have approval. I mean, I think a lot of times they do, but correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes it's just a guy getting a feel, right?
You're exactly right. What's the old adage? Sometimes you just have to know when to break the rules, and if you do, you're taking on some responsibility. But he was happy to do so there.
So now the other return teams out there as they'll try to duplicate what they just saw.
This will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20.
The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started.
And Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive, and they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half.
All-pro receiver Michael Thomas missed all of 2021 while recovering from an ankle injury, but we'll never forget that he set an NFL record in 2019 with 145 catches. When healthy, borderline unguardable, just like he was on that play.
He'll air it out deep for Thomas. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
One thing that offensive guys stress when they throw the deep ball, you're just counting on your receiver to find it, adjust before the defensive back can get his head around. In this case, though, the DB matched it move for move and knocked it away.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Here's Dalton. And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. And it's picked up by the Buccaneers. On the move past the 40.
We have seen this before, and we know coaches preach about this and work on it all the time. Catch the ball. You know there's going to be some traffic somewhere. They've got to put it away and secure it as they try and get downfield.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And he's going to go down. They get to him back at the 40. Now the Bucs going to use the first of their timeouts as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Another try after the 1st down sack. Brady, and pressure coming, and they got him once again. Now another timeout called for by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime.
So when you have good field position to start a drive and you give up back-to-back sacks, that can be demoralizing for a team.
From midfield, here's Brady. Oh, he's thinking end zone for Evans. And unable to connect. Incomplete. I'll give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
4th down, so Jake Camarda is out there.
And this one's high, but not very far. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. Pretty woeful there. Just 23 yards on the punt. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before halftime. Getting set for their next drive, the New Orleans offense. And with only 4 seconds on the clock, time likely for just 1 snap of the football. The final act of the 1st half, Dalton. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away. So we have reached halftime here with the visiting Buccaneers out on top. As we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach. And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the 3rd quarter. The Saints going to go on offense first, and they trail here as we begin quarter number 3.
This is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone.
And not a good return here at all as they'll be forced to start at the 12-yard line. The Saints offense on the field, ready to get their drive started.
But, Charles, we saw a pretty entertaining 1st half, close ball game. Remember there toward the end of the 2nd quarter, the opposition scored to take the lead. Now we'll see if these guys can get a score of their own to regain that lead.
Yeah, they want to have that type of a response, don't they? Because they want to find a way to take control of this ball game one more time. Gauntlet's been thrown down. They want to see if they're ready to answer it.
Here's a pass swung out left to his running back. And he'll be just shy of the 20 at the 19 as he goes out of bounds. Short completion, just 4 yards. And it's 3rd and 4 now.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it could turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
And they'll blow that one up back at the 16-yard line. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4th. Here comes the Saints punter now, standing just outside his own goal line. Returnable here from the 38. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the Buccaneer offense will be set up well as they take over. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Brady. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
This has certainly been a physical game so far. Limited scoring opportunities for both sides. And there's another chance that goes unfulfilled.
Throwing is Brady on 3rd down. Looking for his tight end Rudolph, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And he's just across midfield and down at the 49-yard line.
Brandon, this is a veteran quarterback back there. He should know better than to make a throw like this. This is definitely not his best ball. And I think he knew this was trouble the second it was leaving his hand.
They'll try to get the offense going with Kamara. Taken down at the 47-yard line. The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Dalton sets up play action. He's got a man. It's his fullback. Yeah, he will go out right near the 35-yard line. 12 yards there. Good for a Saints first down.
That's good for a Saints.
A give to Kamara running right. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
Second down, it's Kamara again. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operated.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off, and try and chip someone at the second level.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. And now to the air, Dalton. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering. What a nice play he made there in the open field.
Seventh play of the drive, forthcoming on 3rd and 8. Kamara up the middle. And that's not going to get it done. He'll come up well short of the first at about the 21. Just a yard on the run there, and that's going to bring us to a 4th down. Will Lutz now to try the New Orleans field goal. On the left hash mark, this a 38-yard attempt. The kick by Lutz is good, and that'll get the lead down to 5. Well, the 3 points certainly helps, but you feel like, Charles, at this stage of the game, when you force those turnovers, you need to start converting them into touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised myself because I thought in this situation, they were thinking end zone or bust. Now they got to rely on their defense to get the ball back again for another opportunity to get 6 points.
Darden now going to bring this one out of the end zone. And no alley to be found. The coverage was solid, and he's dropped at the 18. Bucs offense set to begin their next possession.
Here comes another drive from this unit, and Charles, they're coming off a costly mistake on the last possession, an interception in a game that is very close right now.
Oh, Fournette loses it. It's out. The Saints say they have it, and they do.
So turnovers, Charles, you figure will be key in the second half, and that's a big giveaway there.
Yeah, and as you and I both know, coaches are always preaching ball security, and none more often than right here in the second half of a tight football game. Now you've got to believe what the coaches are saying and take care of that football.
A man who's been busy this afternoon, it's Kamara again. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the first down run. He gets maybe 3.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that field like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
Trying to run inside, but nothing there. No gain on the play there, so they're left with a 3rd down and 6.
They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it one more time, so make sure you get in shape.
Now, meanwhile, a final play here is incomplete, and that's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Saints going to call the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So here we go. Maybe the biggest kick of the game forthcoming. This from 42 yards out. The kick by Lutz is good. And that will cut the lead down to just 2. So with that field goal, this one's now back within a field goal. Maybe not the ultimate result they wanted, but gets them that much closer.
This game is unfolding like a really good book, isn't it? Because I feel like there's a few more plot twists yet to be revealed before this one is over.
Darden now going to bring this one out of the end zone. And he's only going to make it to the 13-yard line and no further.
The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal and they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive, a little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown, but they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
The coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think coach will be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield and punch in the end zone without turning it over.
Brady now on first down. Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield. They had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10. Up the middle, Ingram. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. The Bucs on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Demario Davis. A seismic shift in momentum here in the 4th quarter. That's the break that the defense needed.
And you know as well as I do, people are going to question the play call in that situation. Sometimes you have to question the execution, not necessarily the call. And in this case, those defenders found a way to give their team a chance.
Well, on first down, they run with Kamara as he'll take it forward for about 3 yards. 2nd down coming up.
And the trend continues here in the fourth like it was in the first, second, and third. He's had nowhere to run.
And you're probably thinking to yourself, why do they keep feeding him the football? Well, they trust him first and foremost. They do believe that over time he might actually pop one of these runs. The bottom line is he takes care of the ball well for them, so they'll keep handing it to him.
Trying to bounce it outside, but he's only able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
Meanwhile, on 3rd down, they take a shot at the end zone, but it's incomplete. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This for a 4th quarter lead. The kick by Lutz is good, and they have taken the lead here in the 4th quarter. So it's another field goal here. He may need to ice his leg after this one. That's now 5 field goals converted in this game alone.
Yeah, get the trainer. They're going to need this guy, and they've needed every single one of the field goals he's made, too. If they're going to get out of here with a win, I say he gets a game ball.
Darden now going to bring this one out of the end zone. And no chance to get away as they'll get him down at about the 17-yard line. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. And now they find themselves trailing following the field goal. Still a good amount of time in this 4th quarter, but this drive very well could determine the outcome of this ball game. 57 yards on the ground for him so far.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the 4th quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down 4th quarter. Yeah, Ingram churning. He lost the football. The Saints say they have it, and they do.
Hey, I'm all about defense forcing plays and getting takeaways. But an interception and 2 fumbles in their last 3 offensive possessions.
Time to readjust?
Yeah, you can't just give all the credit to the defense on that. They've got to look in the mirror and take a blame themselves and figure out how to not do it anymore.
They'll run out of the gun with Kamara. Able to slither by. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 12 yards there, good for a Saints first down. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
Able to fight for about 4 yards there to the 13. 4th quarter, 2 minutes on the clock in a tight 1-point game. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. They've got a 2nd down now as they search for a way to get this one to the finish line. On 2nd down, Kamara. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game. And now the question everyone's wondering, look at the clock, late 4th quarter, do they put the ball in the air here on 3rd?
I don't. I run the football and I tell my offensive line, no leakage up front. I don't want my running back hit as I hand the ball off to him. I don't want any type of an issue. But if I am going to throw it, quick throw, out to the perimeter, maybe one of my best receivers running a quick slant or something like that.
The Bucs going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
The kick by Lutz is good, and that'll move their lead up to 4 now. So they get to 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, it's a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get... And that's intercepted yet again, and that could be the backbreaker. Picked up by the linebacker, Demario Davis. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line.
Well, you knew you had to take some chances here with the clock winding down, needing a touchdown to win it, and that one might have just sealed their fate.
Yeah, and that's the nature of the 2-minute drill. The offense trying to go downfield and make their plays. But defenses, they're sitting back watching everything that they do, but not too far back. They want to be in position to make a play on the ball, and that they did.
They try and run on first down, but this one going to lose a couple yards as they get him behind the line.
I think as a running back in this spot, you have to understand there's not going to be a whole lot of room to run. And in this case, ball protection takes precedent over trying to make something happen.
So now Dalton bulldozes past him, and he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
I know it was a gain, but you have to sense probably a little bit of disappointment there because when it's out there in open space, I think they expect to get more out of a play, don't you?
Especially when you're getting it to your guy out of the backfield. You're expecting him to be able to create something, be a little more shifty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good open field tackling held it to an okay gain.
And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. It's 1st and goal, and a late touchdown at this stage could officially salt this one away. Try to pound it in, Kamara. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. And now with 6 seconds remaining, they're going to burn their final timeout.
That's good power football on 1st and goal. A lot of teams will throw from there, but that's a nice job to chew up a few more yards and get yourself closer to the goal line.
And his kick is right there. It's good, and that'll make this a 7-point game. But from a defensive perspective, though, I think maybe they're saying, hey, we did what we needed to do, kept this a 1-score game.
Yeah, without a doubt, because they were able to bleed some time off the clock, right? Put themselves in a good position, but it's not out of reach yet, okay? Being able to hold them to a field goal means that they do have a chance to come back and win this game.
Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
One final try now for Brady. This to possibly force OT. And that is going to be incomplete. Boy, they got the tip they were looking for, but couldn't secure it. And this one's over.
What a game we were treated to in this one. And then on that final play, they had a chance. They had the ball just beyond midfield for one final shot, but couldn't get it down, and they suffered a loss.
Yeah, and you mentioned how they had a chance on that final play, and getting into midfield gave them that opportunity, hoping they could find their way to